Congratulations. My name is Summer, and I'm here with my Quaker cats, and I'm wanting to talk about something that I do that maybe you do too. Sometimes I find a book, or I hear about a book, or I watch a movie, and I just fall in love. And I go and I buy the book, and then I'll set it aside. And I think, oh no, now's not the right time. I'll read it later, and it will just sit there, and then a year will go by, 2 years will go by, 10 years will go by. And now I have a book where it's 19 years have gone by, and I still haven't read it, but every time I look at it, I think, oh, it's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. So I have decided that I'm going to show you these books I'm talking about. Um, and I'm going to slide them into my TBRs. I have a really hard time setting a TBR. Well, I can set TBRs and I can make lists, but sticking to them, I am not good at it all, especially when the libraries are opening back up. My library is not open yet, but the one half an hour away that's connected to mine is open, so I've ordered stuff. So we'll see. We'll see, but I'm going to try to slide these in. So the first book I'd like to talk about is, it doesn't have a cover. I've had it forever, and who knows what happened to the cover. But it's The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. I think you might be able to see the end. I've had this since 2000. August 31st, 2000 is when I bought this book. So I've got to get to it. I'm not even sure what it's about, but it's Toni Morrison, and I've read Beloved, and there's a couple other ones that I've read that my mind is blanking right now, but I've read 2 or 3 of her books. A Sorrow in Our Hearts, The Life of Tecumseh by Alan Eckerd. This is a thick one. The pages are yellow. I've had this one since 2001, and my mom read this when I was a teenager. It's about Tecumseh. It's Alan Eckerd, so I'm sure it's full of information. And I live close by. Actually, I think that's wrong. Maybe it's Blue Jacket. I think it's Tecumseh. I will find out. Once I read this book, I'll find out if I live close by where Tecumseh was or at Blue Jacket. I cannot remember. But I'll find out. I'll let you guys know. I watched this show. I love BBC, and I'm pretty sure it was on there. And you can't really. I'm fighting daylight here. Lark Rise to Candleburn by Flora Thompson. Love the show. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but it's so good. It's so good. So anyway, I got to get to that. The Canterbury Chronicles, and this is by I want to say Elizabeth Gaskell. It just says Gaskell, but I'm pretty sure it's Elizabeth Gaskell. Anyway, I read Wives and Daughters last year, and it was okay. But I did see this. I did see the first, and I think they made 2 movies, maybe 3 out of it, but they were really good. And it was probably on BBC again. I read Sacagawea. I'm not for sure how to pronounce it, by Anne Lee Waldo. I love it. I really need to reread it because I was a teenager when I read it, and it's a chunker of a book. But she also wrote Prairie, and I started it. You could tell I barely started it back when I got it, and I'm not even sure if I dated it. No, but I was married to my first husband, so it had to be in 2000. 99, 2000 when I bought this. And but seeing this, every time I see this book, I want to reread Sacagawea instead of reading this. And I still do, but I need to get to this and see what this is about because I don't know. Okay, I watched this movie, Possession by A.S. Byatt. I want to say it's Byatt. It looks like Byatt. I bought this book a long time ago, at a library book sale after I watched the movie and never read it. And then I saw this edition. I love these vintage red spine editions. And so I bought it. And I got rid of my old edition. And I still haven't read it. Like, what is wrong with me? But this is supposed to be. Well, the book was so good. It had Gwyneth Paltrow, and I don't remember who the male character was because it's been a while ago, but it was so good. Another TV show that I watched when I was younger, and it leaves you hanging. Anyway, Christie by Catherine Marshall. This book, you don't know if she ends up with the doctor or the preacher. And I went back and forth with who I wanted her to end up with, but the show just leaves you on this cliffhanger, and you don't know who she ends up with. So I need to find out. I need to know, Christie, was it the doctor or the preacher or somebody totally different? I mean, she does have more options, I guess, than those two. Another one of Human Bondage by William Somerset Maugham. I watched The Painted Veil, and then I read The Painted Veil, and I loved it, and I wanted to read something else of his. And I haven't yet, but I have this. It's a vintage edition here with a red spine. I love the cover. So we'll see. I'm going to try to slide some of these in on my TBRs. And one more that I read the first book, Dead Man's Walk. I read the second book, Comanche Moon, but I still have not read Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. And I know it's huge. It's a huge book. And here again, I started it when I bought it, and then I'm like, oh, no, I want to read it in the summertime, or I want to read it, who knows what I'm thinking. But I bought these beautiful editions. They're all beautiful like this. They all have the stars, and they're all different colors. Like Dead Man's Walk is blue, and Comanche Moon is red. But they're beautiful. And I even bought the next one after this, Streets of Laredo. So, yeah, I just need to read it. I get distracted by other books. Also, I want to talk to you about what I'm currently reading, even though some of the things I'm currently reading you already know about because I was reading them last week or earlier this week. And that is, I finished Pachinko. Loved it. Absolutely love it. I'll tell you more about it in the wrap up. But since I finished it, I decided to start something new. So The Japanese Lover by Isabel Allende. I think the two L's sound like a Y, Allende. It's Spanish. Anyway, I love all of her books that I've read so far, and I've read quite a few of her. One of my favorite books, Inez of My Soul, is by her, and I just love it. It's beautiful. Anyway, it's going to be interesting because I just finished Pachinko, which is about a Korean family living in Japan. And my cat's always hanging. She's checking things out. Oh, and I didn't even notice my cat Finchurch is sitting on the cat stand over there. So anyway, I finished Pachinko. It's about a Korean family living in Japan, even though they were born, two generations I think it's two, were born in Japan. They're still considered Korean. And I'm not sure how all that works, but it's interesting. Anyway, so this is about World War II has ended, and there's a Polish girl who meets a Japanese boy, and I believe they're in San Francisco. I think. Pretty sure. I'll let you know. I only started I'm only on like page 8, but I'm really enjoying it. I can relate to it. She's working at a retirement home. My first job was at a retirement home, and I loved working with the people, and they talk about how important touch is, and now with the virus, we're not supposed to touch anybody. Don't touch anybody. But I think touch is so healing, and I believe people do need to be touched, and as a way to, let's say, I see you, you're important. Anyway, The Japanese Lover, I'm currently reading. I'm still reading. I know this much is true. I got to page 300. I'm on 354. I'm taking this slow because I don't want it ever to end. Every night I read a little bit more of Dominic Birdsee's life story of what he's going through with his relationship with his brother, who's schizophrenic, his twin brother, identical twin brother, and just the struggles that everybody has, well, not everybody, but anyway, his struggles I've been going through with him. So I love this book. This book, I say The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck is my all-time favorite book. And it probably still will be after I read this. But this book, I'm telling you, it has made me feel things that and relate with a man that I am not anything like, and I haven't had the experiences that he has, but I feel like I can so relate with him. And so good. I recommend that book to everyone. I'm still reading Jane Austen at Home by Lucy Worsley, which isn't surprising to me because it's a biography and it's an easy read in a sense because it's not, I don't know how to explain it, but it's easy. It reads like a novel, I guess. And it's funny. There's funny things in it. So it's not just like this happened on this date. It flows well. Okay. But no, I'm not quite. I was going to say, I'm halfway through. Not quite. So I'll still be reading it next week, probably. And I also decided to throw in a John Steinbeck. And I got this beautiful edition, which now I'm noticing has cat bite marks on the corner, which I'm sure is Mayfair. But it's a Tortilla Flat by John Steinbeck. And it's a gorgeous, gorgeous edition. So it's very funny. It's not anything like The Grapes of Wrath, but it's very funny. So anyway, that's what I am going to try to slip in those books to my TBR for this year. I'm sure next year I'll be saying the same thing about reading some of them, especially A Sorrow in Our Hearts. I just feel like that's going to be such of a tough read. And I have some fantasy books coming in the mail that are going to be pretty easy, I think. I'm just going to fly through those. So anyway, we will see. I'm curious if you guys have read any of these books, if you liked them, if you hated them, if you're reading anything that I'm currently reading. Just no spoilers. Don't tell me. Tell me you don't like it. You did like it, but please, no spoilers. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you guys have a good night. Nice weekend. Bye.